David.
Yes.
Prior to this recording, we hooked you up to a lie detector. And we asked you 50 questions. And we will now ask one of these questions to you. And we'll tell you if you're telling the truth or a lie.
The question is...
Do you think Bottle Episodes is a good podcast?
Did someone hit the button? Someone hit the button.
Well, welcome to Bottle Episodes.
Do you believe you might have been in love with a former boyfriend on your wedding day?
Yes, I believe I was.
If you thought that was hot, then get ready.
Okay, here we go. Mark, this is to you in 5 seconds. 4, 3.
Tonight, the only thing that separates a person from $500,000 is 21 questions and their ability to answer each one of these questions with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Is there an honest person left in America? The time has come to face the moment of truth.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. My name is David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow.
And this week, back for the fourth time.
4-time club.
4-timer club. I think, yeah.
Her and Brandon.
Her and Brandon.
Pamela Ross, hi. I'm back, bitches.
Big 4.
Big 4. Reviewing more trashy, like...
Yeah, I'm as you know, I love anything that was just horrible enough to terrify the masses of America, and also things that people just haven't heard of because they're so bad. Just just like the dredges of network television.
Do we think people are terrified by this? I think it's far too boring to scandalize.
But I mean, it's a pretty rough.
The thing is, okay, so let me just tell our loyal listeners.
Yeah.
The moment of truth.
So they ask some questions. They hook the contestant up to a lie detector.
They being
beforehand.
Mark L. Wahlberg.
Yeah, the best Mark Wahlberg.
No,
he's
he's done less hate crimes.
Yeah, he hosts a lot of game shows. It's not that Mark Wahlberg. Moving on. So they hook him up to a lie detector. They ask him a bunch of personal questions, and if they answer correctly in front of their friends and family, they can win $500,000, I think.
Yeah, it's $500,000 is what they can get up to.
Yeah, that's the ceiling.
So it's 10, 25, 100, 200, 350, 500,000.
The appeal of this show is, I guess, you get to see people's dirty laundry aired. But this show debuts in 2008. Everyone has a Facebook by this point in time.
Uh-huh.
You can get the same experience online. You can see people airing their baby daddy issues from the comfort of your own home, and it's your friends rather than these random strangers on TV. Boring show.
I can't disagree with you more.
That is a great point, especially because during that era of Facebook, people were still using the relationship status thing, and people were still writing on walls, and some of what they wrote was messy.
That is true.
And also, it's you would some level of personal investment in these people's lives because you're in your social network.
Rather than this show where the host of Antiques Roadshow goes up to some woman like, "You drink too much?" And she's like, "Yeah." And it takes him 5 minutes to get through that question. Horribly dull. And I love Antiques Roadshow. When he popped up, I was like, nice.
Well, an Emmy-winning program.
I've recommended it on this podcast in the past.
It's beautiful.
I've recommended Antiques Roadshow.
Here's my question in terms of the context. When did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire premiere?
99, 2000, unless you're asking when it premiere in the UK in its original version, which would have been a few years before that.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is less money than Who Wants to Be a Millionaire a decade later.
I was going to say, this is less money, and with Millionaire, like in terms of the gameplay, like you can opt out at any point, like at any question.
You can opt out at any point in this.
But
not every question earns you money though.
Exactly. Like it's tiered, it's grouped so that, you can't, even if you answer one question, there isn't a corresponding amount of money.
Well, I think it's because it's trying to get into the psychology of like the sunken cost.
Sunken
Oh,
cost
yeah.
fallacy.
Yeah, so it's like, well, I've already answered this one embarrassing question, and I didn't win any money for that. I should just keep going with the next 3,
The thing is,
so I can make $100,000.
there's zero embarrassment. If someone has already agreed to do this show, I think so little of them that nothing they can say can make me feel any less towards them.
So I think that's really more about you than the show. You're like, if you're willing to embarrass and degrade yourself by this show,
It's just
then you're already so embarrassing and degrading that it can't hurt you.
it's just boring. It doesn't really push any boundaries. Pamela, in the past we had you on for Three's a Crowd, which genuinely, for its day, shocking.
Absolutely.
Going against the morals of what is publicly acceptable at that time and place. Meanwhile, it's 2008. Who cares if you like to party a little bit?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, it seemed like all their families did.
No, the mom was just kind of like, man, what can you do about it?
Three's
in
a
that first
Crowd
episode.
somehow famously offended people across the political spectrum.
Yeah.
Feminists.
The United Auto Workers protested it.
And the United Auto Workers hated it. This show, yeah, it does ask
Geico happily
you.
aired commercials during this.
This show does ask you to invest in a stranger's life to a very high degree. And I guess here's why I bought into it. I appreciate the degree of shamelessness required to consent to the show. That makes me automatically kind of root for someone.
Yeah, the thing is, like, about the show is you do have to be completely shameless for it to work. Because otherwise, the moment you have a sense of shame about who you are and what you've done, you get punished for it by no money.
I would love to actually see the episode where someone comes in, gets asked one question, goes, I'm out, and then just leaves, and it's the end of the episode.
We did, and I mean, maybe this was just the MO with every episode. We happened to watch, we chose at random 2 episodes with fairly young women, and a lot of it seemed to just be like shaming them for their sex lives.
There was a lot of slut shaming.
I would like to know,
yeah.
this is not a normal episode of Bottle Episodes. David decided that we should break the format, and I'm furious at him. So we just watched 2 random episodes because according to him, well, there's no narrative. That's
Yeah.
not what the show's about, David.
I think you guys should fight and then kiss.
I think we should do both at the same time. Kiss fight.
Moment of truth.
Okay, David, we're hooking you up to a lie detector right now. Do you want to kiss fight me? Yes or no?
Hit the button. Hit the button.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that is a
We
part of
have
the show.
to-
You can,
yeah.
anyone, their family and friends that are watching can hit the button if they're like, I don't want to know the answer to that. Which is a nice way of saying, I know that's true and I don't want you to say it on television.
So there's the one kind of gimme where you can get out of something.
But the questions are so boring, no one is ever tempted to press the button.
What are you talking
we never
about?
saw someone press the button.
Yeah, someone... Did
No.
someone press the button?
At one
No.
point, the woman was like, can one of you press the button? And they were like, no.
I actually want to hear the answer to this.
They refused. And also no one ever seemed to, they tried to create like these moments of suspense with like, do you want to keep going? Do you want to keep answering the question? And the people on like the panel were always like, keep going, like try to get more money.
Yeah, you're already in.
They were like, we're already really embarrassed by you. Please continue. We need this money for XYZ.
For your rehab.
For your rehab, your kid's college tuition, whatever it was.
Well, and that was the weird thing about the show in general. Like, nobody ever, there's one person that won $500,000 on the whole show.
In 2 seasons.
In 2 seasons of of this show, only one person made it all the way to the end, which is interesting. If it was so easy or so boring, I don't think that would be the case.
Right. I agree. I do think that's almost like an endorsement of the form. It shows that like they did create high enough stakes that people were opting out.
Yeah. They're just they're like, and people that is the thing is, like, we watched one person opt out, and then one person, we couldn't find the part 3 for the episode, so it just ends on a cliffhanger.
We'll never know.
But
I'll never care.
But I've watched other episodes of this because I do enjoy this show.
Here's the thing. I think they planned on people mostly getting all the way to the end, and it then just never happened because the episodes are so padded with previously we did this episode. Here's a recap of that. What are they up to now? They're doing okay. Because for all of the scandal that the show purports to make, they would do the recaps of on a previous episode, here's what happened to this person. And there was like, their relationship is doing fine. One guy got fired from his job. That was it.
The guy who got fired from his job, he and his girlfriend broke up, got back together, and then broke up again.
Yeah.
But
But he got fired because he was legitimately committing crimes.
Mhm.
He was like an EMT, and they're like, hey, you ever just not done your job right? He was like, yeah, all the time. And they were like, all right, that's a crime.
He was like,
Putting-
absolutely.
Putting lives at risk.
Yeah, they would do. I did think it was funny that they would do like a "Where Are They Now" of people that I couldn't even remember their names by the end of the episode. It was like, I don't particularly care,
Yeah.
but yeah, did we break down the entire format, the gameplay?
We have not.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, you're right. So they answered 21 questions over the course of an hour.
Well, they answer
Up to 21 questions.
before the show. They answer 50
Yes.
connected to a lie detector, and so it would either come up, yes, no, or inconclusive.
Yeah. Yes.
And
no,
then out of the conclusive questions,
They
they'd
would-
ask 21 of them
yes.
on
And
the show.
The second season actually asks 100 questions.
Oh, right.
They went from 50 to 100, and it seems like they have like some base level ones, and then if any of those are caught, like it seems like then they just go down those rabbit holes to see what they can, uncover with people, what they'll say.
And the panel is composed of people in the contestants' personal lives that,
None of whom have screen presence.
well,
They're the most dull people ever.
that is a huge issue that I have with game shows, is that watching normal people on camera is uncomfortable. It's awkward.
Especially like just a group of people sitting there on a couch while like facts about this person are revealed over and over again.
Yeah.
Everyone that's watching their friend or family answer questions feels like they're in a doctor's waiting room. That's their vibe. That's their energy. They're just kind of waiting their turn for a question to be asked about them. And some of them never get a question asked about them. In the second episode we watched, they had one woman's ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
No questions are asked about him. His job is pretty much there to be like, ha ha!
He was just there, and he looked alarmingly like her actual son,
Yeah.
even though they weren't related.
Yeah.
Oh, and then here's the thing that did actually, I thought was gross. When they would have like a special surprise guest come on, and I guess this was built into the format of the show. We saw it twice. But the first one was the biological father of this woman's son that the son had never met.
In the season 2 episode.
Yeah. And they just surprise everyone with him.
Yeah.
And the other one was what was it?
It was a flashback to a previous episode, and it was
Oh,
the man that nearly killed your child with his car.
right.
Oh,
And they
right.
they like pixelated his face.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in studio though, where there were a thousand people watching in the audience or whatever.
No.
You think there was 1,000 people in these audiences?
No, there were 10,000. These are arenas full of people watching Moment of Truth.
It is. I mean, I think it's in the same vein as Three's a Crowd, where
It's so boring compared to Three's a Crowd.
is it just because of the limited number, like how long it takes to go through each question?
Three's a Crowd has the gloriously bad taste of John Waters present in it. And this is like a coffee table book about John Waters.
Three's a Crowd was genuinely subversive
Yeah.
in the way that, yeah.
And
I love that comparison.
This is boring.
This is exploitative for sure.
It's exploitative, and it is also, there was something very flat about it to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's the host of Antiques Roadshow.
I didn't know. There was also like, there was a lack of emotion in almost everyone on screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that. I feel like
I
it's
did.
all that weird, like subtle emotion of like trying not to explode on television.
There was one woman who kept saying, "Oh, her micro expressions."
Oh yeah,
It looked like she was panicking.
she was. Just everything they would ask of her.
The teen mom.
The teen mom, every like single thing she had masked so hard that like she would like do these like crazy eye movements. Like her eyes would roll so far in the back of her head to be like, yeah, I also do that.
Well, we'll get back to her. I think we should probably talk about the first episode that we watched.
Mhm.
Okay.
First.
Yes, the party girl. So this was
So she has
this was Leanne.
Yeah.
Right? Leanne
so she
Petrosky.
has her mom, her sister, and her two best friends. And I can't remember if it's one of her friends or one of the friends in the other episode, but I'll say it now. When they're like going down the line and like, and who are you and how do you know them? and one of them goes, "I'm blah blah blah. I'm her I'm her friend. We're practically sisters." And then they go to her next friend, like, "I'm blah blah blah. I'm her friend," which is like, come on, don't let that other friend one up you so much. Be like, we're also practically sisters.
No, we're just friends. Listen, I have strong boundaries. You're gonna find out pretty quickly.
Oh,
She's
no.
a bit of a mess.
Wait, no,
her boyfriend.
that was the second episode where that happened because the boyfriend is on the panel for this.
Farzine was there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Farzine.
And they
So it's a
really tried
boyfriend
to
and a friend.
humiliate Farzine.
They really went after Farzine.
Yeah.
Also, the Mark L. Wahlberg does not seem confident saying the name Farzine at all.
It's like, I've only read this, actually. I've never heard it said out loud. Am I saying this right?
What would you like to say to Farzine? Because he's asking it like a question, because it is. But you can also hear him questioning the name Farzine throughout.
He's scared. This was filmed in a post 9/11 America.
So yeah, I mean, there is a level of just like, I feel like that's probably the easiest place to go for women to like, yeah, turns out most people have had sex with someone they regret or something.
Yeah, everyone has at a certain point in time, especially one of these women was 36. It's like, yeah, she has a sexual history.
Yeah.
She's done things in the past.
She was 18 when she had a child. Do you think she's nailing every one of these decisions?
I just want to say, I was watching this, I was like, another game show I could win. I got no secrets to keep.
No skeletons in that closet.
It'd just be like, every question would be like, do you ever eat too much candy? I'll be like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not ashamed.
And my
I do.
dentist is frankly angry with me about
Yeah.
it.
He would be on the panel.
He's on the panel. It's like your dentist.
He was actually a family friend, so it's fine that he's there.
Oh wait, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Who's on your panel?
My dentist, shout out Rob. Hey,
Mhm.
I guess you two can be there.
Oh, thanks.
Aw.
And I'm gonna shoot for the moon and ask for Weird Al Yankovic for the 4th, because that's like who I'd feel most ashamed to embarrass myself in front of. If they really want me to like walk away, you need to put Weird Al there.
In there, and they're just like talking about your hygiene for.
And Al's just being like, you gotta brush twice a day, man.
Yeah.
I know
like,
I'm thinking about food a lot, but hygiene's important as well.
he doesn't floss enough.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Weird Al being on a panel, just like, it seems like this guy's life isn't going great.
And then he writes a song about it.
And there's normally 4 people on it?
Yeah.
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
4 to
okay.
6. Oh.
I mean, yeah.
So there's room for Al. I can put 2 more in this.
Yeah, you don't have a lot.
hypothetical
Well, your
panel.
mom and your sister would have to be on.
I don't care. I'll get 2 members of Weird Al's backing band.
I'm trying to think of who would be. I mean, I have a pretty large family.
Your mom?
Yeah, my mom. My dad, if he showed up.
He would be scheduled, and then we'd see day of.
We'd see day of whether or not we get to the dad questions.
Yeah, that's a producer's problem, not ours.
Yeah. We invite him. I don't know. Do I bring one of my grandparents? Because that'll be funny for me.
Bring an ex.
Oh, definitely an ex is going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I guess, yeah, probably, yeah. 3 exes. 3 to 5. Fuck this. That's the whole panel. It's just all my exes.
Well, we're back to
That's an
Three's a
interesting
Crowd.
show.
We're back to Three's a Crowd.
Yeah. We reinvented Three's a Crowd.
we reverse engineered back to.
Yeah. And mine would be my dad,
Okay.
my best friend, I don't know. Probably her boyfriend, because I don't really like him.
Perfect.
And she'll never hear this, fingers crossed. And they're engaged. And
Looks like we have our own moment of truth.
oh, Kendall. Kendall would be on it.
Oh, I thought he was your friend. I thought he was your best friend.
He's my best comedy friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
This would be how he found out. It would be on the moment of truth. It'd be like,
I think he knows.
So yeah, in this first
what? No.
in this first episode for this former party girl,
Mm-hmm.
the questions they ask are, trying to think specifically. One of them's like, "Is there anything you do sexually that your mom would be ashamed of?" And then she's like, "Yeah." And then her mom's like, "That's fine. You're allowed to do whatever you want." It's just a supportive mom.
But wouldn't the answer for almost everyone be yes?
Yeah, I hope so.
Because don't you not
Not for
even...
me.
Not
Well-
for Daniel, famously.
Famously. Yeah, ever since he was on those asexuality billboards, everybody figured it out. Yeah. You would be the one person. Although, frankly, your mom might be ashamed that she's like not getting kids.
Well,
Reverse,
grandkids.
grandkids.
Your implication is disgusting, first of all. I hate that. Hate that so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry I suggested you might be having kids with your mom, and she's...
I'm hooking you up to the lie detector right now. What made you think of that? Why you got that on the mind, huh, David?
You know that's not how lie detectors work.
That's how this lie detector works. I'm asking open-ended lie detector questions.
I love the idea of just doing... Sorry, the pots and pans crashing in the back is very funny.
It's just some ambient noise.
Sorry, we're recording this in the back of a U-Haul, barreling down the highway at 80 miles an hour.
Okay, so yeah, this show. I mean, yeah. So they're asking her a lot about like her sex
Her
life,
drinking.
her drinking.
At one point, they're like, "Do you think alcoholism runs in your family?" And she goes, "Yeah." And her mom goes, "That makes sense. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm doing better."
Yeah,
It's just like her mom is too supportive.
Yeah,
for
she
this
was
to
like,
be
I'm an
interesting.
alcoholic in recovery, and everyone claps.
there are supportive moments on the show. I think that's also okay for the show to have.
I've never drank. No one will ever clap for me.
Yeah,
I'll
because
just be like,
you do it
"Nerd."
for boring reasons.
Yeah.
You have to be too fun with the drinking for people to clap,
And
when
then
you
scale
stop.
it back.
Yeah,
You have to overcome. Yeah.
I could take one drink and then be like, it's been X number of years since I drank, and everybody be like, good for you.
yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
And a lot of the questions do focus on her relationship with her boyfriend.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like that's the majority of the episode.
That was a
like,
lot.
But
of
even
it.
when they get to the questions where there could be scandal, they're like, have you ever cheated on your boyfriend? She's like, no. And like, that's true.
She does wish that he had a bigger penis.
Yeah.
No. They just ask if she wishes any part of his body was bigger.
Right.
At all. Any part in the world.
The way it's phrased, they say, is there any part of Farzine's body that you wish were better endowed or something like that?
And for all we know, she wanted him to have a bigger brain.
Just huge pecs all day.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it could be.
You think that's what was happening? You think
Probably not, but I'm giving the benefit of the doubt.
why?
I don't know, because I felt bad for Farzine.
Okay.
Not on the show, but now that like years later we're making fun of him,
Do you-
that's not cool.
Do you think they stayed together after the show?
I
No.
don't care.
So we have one no and one apathetic.
Yeah, maybe he's in the comments on the YouTube video or something.
Hi.
I started Googling some of these people, trying to see, where are they now? But none of them had really a significant online presence.
No, we're still early enough in reality TV game show stuff that people are just playing authentically as opposed to like angling this as their launch point.
Oh no, it's clear that the incentive to be on the show was just the money. No one was like, I'm gonna
Yeah, people
brand myself as a reality TV personality. No.
You could have done that by 2008. Moment of Truth is not the spot for it.
Right.
right, but people will try it on game shows now, especially one that's like
Jeopardy. There's Jeopardy celebrities.
yeah,
I know.
that's what Daniel's trying for.
Are you taking the test? Or are you going on?
I'm in the contestant pool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. That's why there were the giggles.
That's why we were giggling. I don't know. I feel like the thing about with the show is that like it is them blowing up parts of their lives. Like people like construct these very like carefully constructed social personas, and then they're just like, "Fuck it, here we go. Let's just blow it up on television."
But they never give me reason to care about their social lives or their personas.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's the whole point. Is like the idea that like by them willing to blow it up, it is interesting.
Yeah, but I think as a viewer, it makes you feel like a voyeur. It makes you feel like you're invasive in some way
Yeah, which I think is part of the fun of the show.
because of like the social distance from those actual people.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like I'm like, because I think it would be really nerve wracking if I was watching my mom blow up her life on television. That would be really difficult to watch.
Would you feel better if there were $500,000 at the end of it?
I mean, I would feel better, but also there's a high chance that she's just revealing a bunch of stuff and then not making any money because she lied about one thing.
Your family going on this show would be very entertaining. I'll say that. Anyway, Daniel, continue.
I'm willing to bet everybody that went on when they invited their family, what they said is, Don't worry. I know how to fool the lie detector. So I'm going to say salacious things so that they put me on because that's what they want to hear. And that was
I don't think these people were that smart.
okay.
I think they were like, I could win $500,000 for us. Think about, you could renovate your house. You could go to this college. I think it was like getting them all in on the
$500,000.
the prize package.
That is a lot of money to you don't have to be smart technically.
I would like to know people have made that much bringing in the right item to Antiques Roadshow, though.
Either way, Mark L. Wahlberg will present them with $1 million.
$500,000.
$500,000. But you have to own that piece from an antique, that random antique.
These people own these memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so cheap to give away, except for it's not. It costs them everything.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Also check me out at DPIC Comedy. Check Daniel out at Daniel F. Crow. And check out Pamela at Pam Not Anderson. Also check out her Substack, Name Dropping at .substack.com. You know how to find. If you go on Substack, Name Dropping, that's it. It'll be linked too. You can just click it. That's easier. Also, check out my special Goblin King and follow me on TikTok at LitGrandma69.
Yeah, the most interesting part of the show would be the fallout from this, which we don't see.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted the cameras to continue following them.
Yeah.
Because they take so long to ask a single question and then it's mostly recaps of past episodes. It's a 5-minute show stretching
One
to an hour
episode
long.
had recaps of the two we watched. It randomly had recaps. They don't do that for every episode.
Well, it I don't know. It still felt like they were really stretching.
Okay. Oh, for sure. Well, because the thing is,
Do you know what I mean?
you have
'Cause
to
can
make
bring
it-
up some of the questions.
you have to make it 21 questions worth of time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you're only answering 11 to 15 questions.
Right.
So put two people on the same episode like they do with Millionaire.
Ruin 2 lives.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it why is it always 1-to-1? One contestant per episode.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be because you would just film them all in a week.
Well, exactly.
But I don't know if Mark Wahlberg can take it emotionally.
You'd be filming multiple. It's like Jeopardy.
Mark Wahlberg doesn't care emotionally, but he's checked out.
Oh, it is funny how much it seems like he cared at the beginning, and then by the time the show starts working or whatever, he's just like, yeah, all right, I'll be mean to him. Yeah, I'll be meaner. He does say things like, I wish I didn't have to read this, but here goes, and you don't believe it at all.
He's like, this is a really hard question to ask. Oh, and then they also have people from the panel or sometimes the mystery guest ask a question.
Oh yeah.
As if to sort of pour salt on the wound.
That's very much like when you're at a concert and they hold out the mic and have you sing the song. That's what Mark Wahlberg is doing there.
Except for it's just a weird uncle being like, did I ever touch you?
Yeah.
I did love in the first one, they're like, wow, she's a fun party girl. And they're like, have you ever fled the scene of a car accident that was your fault?
But that's,
and she says yes.
she could have just bumped something in a parking lot.
Yeah, and if she had, she would have said that.
And then they would cut that out because it's not interesting.
No, because she literally they keep asking her, like, do you want to answer? They're like, you would explain this. And she kept being like, no.
David,
Yeah.
I've hooked you up to a lie detector. And one of the questions we asked you was, do you know how editing works? How did you answer?
No.
We determined that to be true.
So yeah, and then they really do dig after Farzi. I forgot how much they really went after him.
Yeah.
He's got this droopy dog face that just,
Yeah, he made me
you
sad.
see he's been beat up by the world.
And she said, oh, one of the questions that I loved was, have you ever been embarrassed by your boyfriend's sense of style?
Yeah,
She was like, yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. He is dressed like he's like an IT guy.
The better version of this show, though, they find someone whose boyfriend is a loose cannon at that point stands up and just starts yelling. Like, if they want real drama, like a good reality TV show, at that point you just need to stand and be like, well, what are all the things I'm embarrassed with you, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, and like reveals a bunch of truths about her.
Yeah.
Well, they're already doing that. That's the show.
But I'm saying, it's not really hard for the contestant to keep going if just one thing is revealed over and over. It should get real messy real quick between everybody. That rather than we see the fallout, we don't get to see the fallout after the show.
Yeah.
They should have got whoever works for Jerry Springer and stirs the pot there.
Right. Because there's no back and forth.
Yeah.
No, it's a game show. I guess, like, yeah, you could get to the point where it's like, but I guess it's also in that time where they're trying to, like, almost directly ape Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're well after Millionaire Mania.
Oh, this
We're
is
nearly a decade after peak Millionaire.
well, they're
Obama's
so-
running for office while this is on the air.
on a campaign that's like,
I
we're
can't
going to
believe-
stop this show.
Yeah. He should have taken a stand on this show. He should have said, if I'm elected president,
Well, season 2 happens when he's in office, and then it gets canceled. So once he's got the power,
Finally. Yeah, the moment of truth got canceled. Thanks, Obama.
yep, you did it.
Also, like, the thing is, like, the ramifications are things like, they were like, have you ever snooped through his computer?
Yeah,
And he was like, yeah, I've done that. But that's like, that'll end a relationship.
depends on
Like,
what you find.
here's the thing. She says yes. So there's a certain amount of intrigue, but it's never explained why or how or the circumstances. I want to know. Was he in the shower and you figured out his password and started going through the emails? What happened? We don't get any of that color or detail.
She just played Counter-Strike and ruined his rankings.
48 hours, but it's just for when was someone going through my computer.
What did she find? I mean, presumably nothing. They stayed together, but I want to know.
She was looking at his bank account statements just to see how much money he actually made.
Right.
Yeah, they really do need someone prying to get the drama ramped up throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
They do have stuff like it just ends relationships. I feel like that's what the show does. It's like, have you ever felt that you deserved a boyfriend more attractive than Farzine?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you stay with someone after they say that? I guess.
Would you break up with your girlfriend if you found out that she thought that she could get with Chris Hemsworth at some point? You'd be like, that makes sense.
Like, but do you feel like you're supposed to be like, but the whole episode, all the questions are like, yeah, you really don't seem to like this guy other than he's stable.
We should have Farzine as a guest.
Yeah, Farzine, come on the pod.
Yeah.
Farzine, where are you now? I got to Google him.
Well, also, we do know that he wasn't getting cheated on.
That's true.
Yeah. So after all that, that's why it's like low stakes drama.
Because if you've been cheated on,
Yeah.
I feel like people definitely get revealed as having been cheated on the show.
And maybe those are more interesting episodes, but these two, pretty boring for me. I mean, how much time do we have left in the episode? I might just go to the bathroom. You guys keep going. This is like
Daniel is emancipating himself
Yeah.
from this episode of the pod.
podcast as a whole.
We could have done this episode yesterday.
He's reclaiming his time.
I'm pushing the buzzer to move on to a different show. Let's go back to talking about Three's a Crowd.
I mean, there were points where they're doing all the family questions where it's like, would you not invite your sister as the maid of honor? And I'm like, I'm
Who
just not
cares?
attached to weddings.
No, but see, that's a real, because you know that they've already asked something about, it's already been established that there's some tension between the sisters.
Yeah.
I think Leanne says, oh, we're like night and day. Who knows what that means, right? And then if you, in girl world at least, if you wouldn't have your sister be your maid of honor, that's like, it's a slight.
What if she was
It's a
having her
big-
mom?
It's a big deal. I don't
Who
think
has her-
I don't think that's customary.
They also mentioned
what?
she's a bunch of half sisters that are not there.
That's true.
So if she's asking one of those half sisters,
Well, because the dad loves more. They established that's the other thing. They do kind of start to try and tear down. It's like, oh, you come from like an alcoholic family where like he loves your half sisters who he lives with.
the
now.
dad and half sisters aren't there. So when they get questioned about the dad and half sisters, I can't bother to care.
Well,
They're not there.
they're not there. But the reason they're not there is because they seem to be in a happier family
Yeah.
elsewhere.
It would be, there's a pecking order, and if you told your one biological sister that she wouldn't be your maid of honor,
She has other biological sisters though. Half
They're-
sisters are biological sisters.
Yeah, but they're not full sisters.
There's not the bloodline.
I say this from an intact family. Thanks. Yeah.
Do we know that is her full biological sister? That could just be on her mom's side or something. We don't know that they're full sisters.
I think they're full sisters, just based on the context clues of the episode.
That was my understanding, at least.
Yeah,
But they could also leave things out to make things more scandalous.
you're right, Daniel.
The show is confusing, is what we've learned.
Yeah.
It's our takeaway.
I do like in this like situation, you're like, they could be just lying to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Fox network is not above doing that.
No, I think the Fox network is famously honest and balanced.
I feel like the same time this was when Minute to Win It with Guy Fieri was airing. And your time would have been better spent watching Minute to Win It.
Ooh, we should watch, honestly, just for fun, the Rachel Ray versus Guy Fieri Celebrity Cook-Off.
Oh, Guy wins for sure.
It is wild. Coolio, Lou Diamond Phillips,
Okay.
Aaron Carter.
R.I.P.
Rest in
Wow.
peace.
And Coolio.
Yeah,
Oh man,
it's a real cast of characters.
It's a real ghost room.
who knew that was a cursed show? The Rachel Ray versus Guy Fieri curse.
And then basically she's like, yeah, I'm not going to have my sister at my wedding. And then they get out.
The sister is visibly so pissed off, and then over like the end credits, she's like hugging everyone on the panel. The sister is so angry.
By the way, what if
I don't think they hug. I don't
What
think
if
they
the
hug.
episode ended with her being like, "I'm not asking her to be my maid of honor," and then she gets down on one knee because I'm asking her to marry me?
The episode should end the way that they end the Judge Judy episodes, where they do like sort of straight to camera confessionals
Oh,
with
yeah.
the people in it,
Yeah.
and they're just like, they go off. It's like the postscript. It's so good. It's so juicy.
That would be so good for the show because that's what you want. You want someone who's been hurt to be like, but also it would really depend on whether or not they won the money or not.
Judge Judy should
Yeah.
also be hosting this
I agree.
because Mark Wahlberg, he's good for Antiques Roadshow. He's a pretty neutral guy. He even has the name of someone more famous. That's how neutral he is. He's not even the only option for Mark Wahlberg's. But you need someone to get in there and antagonize, and Judge Judy would do that. Imagine if you're answering these questions and Judge Judy type is being like, "What's wrong? You disgusting."
Yeah. Someone's like, no. And she's like, baloney.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the answer has been deemed as baloney.
Or the woman that you sow's weakest link, get her.
Oh, you just want a mean British woman.
Judge Judy's not British.
No, that's true.
Just someone to attack. Because whatever. Move on to the next episode. Get those boring questions out of the way. Let's get out of here.
This show is so much fun to watch.
No,
If you okay, listen, if you have a life, you will really enjoy watching other people ruin theirs.
I thought it was okay. I actually thought it was entertaining, but I ultimately found it kind of dispiriting.
How so?
I don't know. It just made me sad.
That's fair. That's fair. I totally get
It's hard
that.
for me to articulate. It's because it
There's
really
victims of capitalism ruin their life.
it probes it kind of probes the darkness behind the facade.
So what you're saying is it takes on the human condition. I agree.
By the
Exactly.
way, here, I hate to keep bringing up Three's a Crowd, but it is the best comparison for this. The people in Three's a Crowd were just kind of ruining their lives for fun. There was very little money.
Yeah.
So they were there just because they were agents of chaos that wanted to do that show.
Because they didn't understand.
These people are being coerced.
Yeah, it's $500,000 worth of people just being like, "Yeah, I did that too."
I would enjoy this show more if, like, in between every question, we got to see them, like, do a line. Because I'm like, okay, this is just someone that wants to do this.
Right. The 70s.
Yeah.
I'm doing cocaine and I'm spilling secrets.
Yeah. If there was no money on the line, people were just doing this for the love of the game, then yeah, cool.
Okay, so the second episode starts off. It's a mother. She had her son at 18. He's now 18.
He's on the panel.
He's on the panel. Her two girlfriends are on the panel, and her ex-boyfriend is on the panel.
Who is just there to grin.
Yeah, to be like,
question-
haha.
No questions ever come up about it.
Oh, I bet they were coming up later. I bet that was the thing, is he was the final boss.
I think he was just a decoy dad.
I think you have the dad, because now the dad's exposed. Okay, spoiler alert for this. They bring on, the kid's never met his dad, and they bring the dad onto the show.
Which I'm sorry, that's not appropriate.
No.
It
What's not
offended my
appropriate-
sensibilities.
It's not appropriate until you see the dad. And then it's really not appropriate.
Oof.
Because he's like 55.
Yeah.
She's like 36. And you do the math and you're like, she might have got pregnant when she was 17.
Well, she
and
was
this-
18.
No,
Yeah.
she gave birth when she was 18.
Oh, yeah.
How long do you think babies have to gestate for?
Listen, I've not done the math.
I have no idea.
Zero idea. Press the button. Someone press the button quick.
And then you're like, that guy could have been in his early mid 30s when this happened.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, he could have been 36. Like, he could have been as old as she was. Yeah, it's real gross to think about. Oh, that guy was he was a lot. But they started off so fun. They're like, have you ever walked in on your son naked? And
Very
then,
fun, yeah.
well, it's like silly.
It's it's supposed to be silly and irreverent.
Yeah, like it's something you wouldn't talk about, but is ultimately not that bad. But then they're like following it up with stuff like, have you ever sabotaged your son's relationship because you felt threatened?
And she was like, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And they asked why, and she's like, she just was not the right fit in any way, shape, or form. She was like such a mama bear about it.
And the son is like, yeah, I know what she's talking about.
They were like, and are you still with this girl? And he's like, no.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
She was vanquished.
The mom's like, listen, I've been this person. I know how this works.
Right. Truly the most controversial question is, did you ever consider giving your son up for adoption? And as I noted, you know what? They wanted to use a different A word for that.
For giving up the son.
And I don't think it got past standards and practices.
Yeah, they were like, we can't have this woman talk about this on TV like this.
Yeah. At this time, no.
Because she thought about that one.
Well, yeah. If you were a pregnant teenager.
Yeah, obviously. But she went, no.
Well, for adoption.
And it was true.
Yeah, she was just like, nope, we're keeping it.
And like, God bless. That was an honest answer, you know?
Yeah, God bless, indeed. It is a blessing from God. Thank you, Pamela's crossing yourself.
Across myself, because podcasts are a notoriously visual medium.
Yeah, they were like, they also did try and like destabilize her friend group.
Yeah.
Like you ever flirted with their husbands?
Well, but also
You
started.
think you're hotter than them?
Yeah, literally, it's like, do you think you're hotter than your friend? And she was like, yeah.
Which, I don't even think they were that mad. They were like, you know what? Good for her having self-confidence. They probably all think they're the hottest friend.
And then they were like, how about, did you try and fuck with her husband? She's like, yeah. And they're like,
No, just flirt. Just flirt.
Yeah, obviously just flirt. Because that's the way to make it more scandalous. You do like these ones that are true.
And then they were like, you ever slept with a lady? And she was like, yep.
And then they kept being like, it's her on the panel.
Yeah.
They're like, they fucked.
Oh, Christy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny, the idea that she's then also flirted with her husband, and that would be also the crime. Yeah. No, I mean, they are doing, like, that is one of the things. I did want to try and find a male episode of the show, because it's a different type of slut shaming.
Right.
Where they're just like, hey, have you not cared about women ever? He's like, sometimes.
Have you ever womanized? Yes.
Yeah, Though they did ask, I think it might have been the other one where they were like, do you remember the name of if you were woken up not knowing the name of a man you woke up with?
Yes.
And yeah, she did it. Yeah, got her.
I've never been in that position, but I have like forgotten the names. Like at this point in time, I've long since forgotten the names of certain sexual partners. But I think I'd be really good at the show.
You do?
Yeah.
I think that's what they prey on, is people who think they'd be really good at the show.
Because the truth is, I'm a combination of shameless and I really don't have anything to hide. Not in my book.
There you go. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. So anything that would...
They'd be like, have you had a threesome? I'd be like, yeah, I mentioned it on stage.
But have you ever hit a car in a parking lot and left?
No, because I'm a very bad driver and I don't do it. I have a license and I refuse to drive.
We just come out with our own set of questions. We're just like...
Yeah.
Have you ever watched a TV show that you didn't want to watch for a podcast?
No.
Okay.
That was...
the podcast has determined that is a lie.
Yeah, the podcast determined that's not true.
I mean, let me see. What was...
But you're right that my hubris, I'm sure, would trip me up.
Yeah, because you'd be like, oh, but not that thing.
Right.
Because that's, I think, what they do is they just like, they ask very general questions of like, have you ever stolen anything? And then if you say yes, then it's like, ding, or no, and that it's like deemed a lie. They'll be like, okay, well, now we'll ask you a bunch of questions about stealing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they think they would get you out on the sexuality stuff, but then it would be something weird, and you're like, oh, yeah, I do lie to my dad about this weird
Have
thing.
you or anyone
Yeah.
you know ever been a member of the Communist Party? Uh-oh.
This is kind of like a social...
Yeah.
The most
McCarthyism.
embarrassing thing they could dig up is just like certain subreddits I'm a part of.
Well, say them now, and then they can't take them up.
My search history.
What's a weird subreddit?
I'm in the RuPaul's Drag Race cringe subreddit a lot.
What is The crit, like just them making fun of like really bad RuPaul's Drag Race stuff, or like
Yeah,
okay.
the cringe queens. To be honest, I I am in the black pussy subreddit, but it's just black cats. It's not actually that bad.
Aw.
It's not that bad.
Wow, this is
Here's
a lot
my-
like Moment of Truth.
Here's my most embarrassing secret. I still have a Neopets account, and I use it almost every day.
Can you
What?
imagine you get all the way to the $500,000 question? Like, do you have a Neopets account?
And I'm just like, you see, all of a sudden, I'm like gripping the chair. I'm like white knuckling it.
Hit the button.
There's a bead of
Hit
sweat
the
on my
button.
forehead, and I start flop sweating.
You still use it? How long have you been using a Neopets account?
Well, I've deleted and remade the accounts over the course of several years. So this one is about 6 months old.
Wow, you relapse?
Yeah,
on Neopets?
I literally relapsed because I was so depressed.
This is so much more interesting than anything I learned on Moment of Truth.
I am the proud mother of 2 Neopets
Okay.
who are both full right now because I fed them yesterday.
Okay.
They're both satiated. And I'm a lot richer in Neopia than I am in real life. I'll
How
just
many
say that.
current users do they have?
A few 100,000.
And how many are your age?
There's actually a lot of
There's dozens of us.
You'd be surprised, even though it's like a children's site. There's so many people that are still using it from the time we were children.
Yeah, I would assume it's
There's-
actually mostly not kids.
There's other aging millennials. Yeah.
Is there an adult Neopets subreddit that you're a part of?
You bet your ass.
What's it called?
It's called Our Neopets.
Oh, it's not just for adults though.
It's for everyone, but it's important to have because the actual message boards on Neopets are for children and they censor everything. You can't have a real conversation. And we can't talk about the subreddit on Neopets
Oh,
because that's verboten.
Oh, I love it. It's like
Yeah.
that serious.
It shouldn't
level.
exist. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a funny.
And now
like,
you know my darkest secret.
Neopets. All right.
you could win $500,000 with that secret.
No, this was canceled.
Well, we're bringing it back.
You're staking the $500,000.
What? Oh yeah.
I think
Okay.
if
Nobody
this,
ever wins it.
if the show existed now, Joel McHale would host it. I'm serious.
No.
He's doing a Fox sitcom right now. They'd get him for this.
They bring out. They're like, Great Outdoors is gonna flop. Let's get.
Be like, Joel. Yeah. They're like, we're not bringing back Animal Control for a 3rd season.
Unless.
You want to host the
Yeah.
Moment of Truth.
So then the rest of this other episode, they're just like, hey, did you keep your kid's dad from him? She's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On purpose. It's like, were you in love with him? She's like, nope.
Do you think he's a good person? Yeah. And then they bring him out and he's old and you're like, he wasn't a good person.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like, he was just in a different place then. But clearly, like, yeah, I do want to know the full story of being like, she's like, I just fucked this weird dude at a party.
Yeah. I need to know, was it a one-night stand?
I'm willing to bet the $500,000 question that they would have asked would have been like, were you underage when blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's a lot of, they're like, you can get this $500,000 if you're willing to admit to crimes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
But, the show never gets to that point, so it never gets interesting.
I wonder if there's just like one of the writer people is just like, man, I have a stack of these 5. Yeah, because they know all the secrets. They
Yeah.
know the 21,
Yeah.
the 21st question for all these people. They got to be doozies.
Mhm.
We should just do that. Just one episode will reveal all the $2,100 or the $500,000 questions.
We'll never know.
Yeah, I guess we would just be revealing their most terrible life secrets.
Yeah.
One episode, all the questions. All right, how would you improve this show?
It just, come on. Get someone in there stirring the pot, making things chaotic.
Okay.
That's all I ask because it's very, very boring as is. And for my recommendation, completely unprecedented, I'm going to recommend a show we've covered in the past. Watch Three's a Crowd instead of this. Come on.
Three's a Crowd's great. I love Three's a Crowd.
That's what this show should be.
I mean, so it should be the same thing, except for they reveal the answers to individual family members who are
just
up
like
there.
that level of chaos.
Yeah.
People should be yelling at each other. You should see the divorce happen
You
in
should
front of your
see
eyes.
exactly. You should see relationships fray in real time.
Yeah, which you kind of see, but not in the same way, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How would you improve the show?
I would have at least 2 contestants per show. I would keep the pace zippier.
Yeah, I think that would really help it out a lot.
Yeah.
That's true. Less Markel Wahlberg being like, okay, so as you remember, as we talked, mom, dad, doing well. Although, actually, I do want to talk about that. He does do the most obvious setups at a certain point where, like, as the game keeps getting played, they start figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so they'll be like, got a good relationship with your mom? She'll be like, yeah, I guess. Or what do you want to ask me about? Also,
You ever hired someone to kill your mom? That's the question.
I do love the audience reactions so much too. The audience reactions, they didn't get you. Like people cheering as they're like, they'll be like, every time they say a question, they're like, oh no.
Yeah, because there were signs at the studio that said, go cheer here.
No, but some of them are having more fun with it. It's not what normal audiences sound like. They're like, oh.
That's what they were told to do.
All right. I mean, yeah, I think they're doing more than, but then the cheering afterwards is so funny. Listen, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, YouTube, the only person that's won the episode won the show. I'll have it linked in this, but just watch that clip and tell me you don't want to find out more about the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is like, I get why you can't have every contestant win $500,000.
Right.
But those are the questions you want to get to.
Yeah, they're the high stakes ones.
So I guess the real sweet spot, like, is to get to people who want to go to the 200,000 to 300,000 range, but then lose in that range. Honestly, the only way to improve the show is just to have it last for 10 years. And by then, there'll be people figuring out the metagame of it, and I think that'll get really interesting towards people's relationship with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been questions like, did you ever go places unmasked during COVID and tell friends you were masked?
Ooh.
Stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. They'll be like, have you taken a COVID test in the last 6 months?
Yeah.
Take them out. Get them down. They'll be like, oh, did you go outside during COVID? Oh, that's nice. Did you ever knowingly give your grandmother COVID? Yeah, no, 10 years of this show. I think it's perfect. No notes, except for probably faster paced.
Yeah.
But
You're out of your mind.
oh, it's so good. I watch episodes of this for fun.
Ugh.
Yeah, me and the dog.
Dog is mad.
We
at
love
you.
it. And then for show, I would recommend just the 9/11 footage from Regis and Kelly. That's a different kind of train wreck you can't stop watching. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to recommend the Zapruder film.